Dallas Cowboys are the highest valued sports team in the world at almost $8 billion, followed by these guys. And to give you some context, soccer giants Real Madrid and Barcelona are number 13 and number 15 on this list. The real football fan in me is shook. How does a team that hasn't won a championship in nearly 3 decades become worth more than Barbados and Aruba's GDP combined? And Barbados is about to lose 25% more of its GDP when Rihanna comes back to perform at the 2022 Super Bowl. Let's break down how the Dallas Cowboys pulled off one of the best marketing strategies in sports history to become worth almost $8 billion.
Billion, yeah.
With a B. And why streaming deals may actually make fans like you the biggest loser in all of this. Okay, so the value of each NFL team is effectively a function of its revenue, which comes from a collection of various streams, including ticket sales, merchandising, corporate sponsorships, and last but not least, TV licensing rights.
Any other use of this telecast without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
More on that in just a minute. But first, let's talk about them Cowboys.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! A team that is just like my mailmen, both who do not deliver on Sundays.
Boom. Roasted.
And how this team went from being worth $150 million in 1989 to nearly $8 billion in 2022. Back in 1978, a highlight film narrated by sports announcer John Facenda said that the Cowboys appeared on TV so much that they were as recognizable as movie stars and even the president, and so he dubbed them America's team. And success helped them live up to the name, playing in 8 Super Bowls and winning 5 of them. I mean, that kind of success helped build a fan base that helped them make over $1 billion in 2021. Again, baffling from a team that's like a defunct blanket. Can't cover a thing.
Got him!
Now, an important piece of this is how these teams are actually evaluated. Since NFL teams are not publicly traded, with the exception of the Green Bay Packers, who unlike everyone else are immunized. Valuation for these privately traded teams is based on the last team sale, or in other words, what people have been willing to pay for them. That last sale was in June of 2021 when the Denver Broncos were sold to the Walton Penner Group for $4.65 billion in 2022. And that's for a team that isn't known to have a fan base too far outside of Colorado. Imagine what that would mean for Jerry's world.
If the Denver Broncos are going to sell for $4.5 million, what makes you think that the most valuable sports franchise in the United States wouldn't sell for double that?
But that doesn't really explain how you can turn a Toyota Camry team into an Aston Martin Vulcan. And it could also never explain the amount of pain that Donald Trump has to be in right now, given that he could have reportedly bought this team for a measly $50 million. Now, if you look at the 80s and 90s, teams were generally going to be sold for tens of millions of dollars. But why? The short answer? The majority of NFL franchise revenue comes from media rights deals, which have also inflated, and which teams like the Dallas Cowboys have leveraged to secure lucrative sponsorships and expensive licensing contracts, launching them into the NFL's highest valuation team. Within their operating costs of $466 million, which includes things like player expenses at roughly $300 million, the Cowboys still reached $1.1 billion of revenue. Now, it's important to note that a portion of the franchise's $1 billion revenue comes from revenue also shared among the teams. But in terms of the Cowboys, this annual Forbes article broke down the franchise's valuation into the categories of sport, which occupies roughly 37% of the valuation, market at about 23%, stadium, which occupies 20%, and brand, which occupies around 20%. What we have seen is that viewership across the board has gone up in tandem with a growing NFL fan base. In addition, streaming has become a huge competitor for traditional broadcast platforms. Amazon, for example, inked the first exclusive streaming deal with the NFL, paying $11 billion to get the rights to Thursday Night Football. This provides an additional $1 billion a year for NFL NFL profits, which teams and their owners split, even if they have a terrible record.
We suck again!
So, okay, ultimately, what did we learn here? Well, the Dallas Cowboys are worth a boatload of money, but that doesn't mean that the rest of the NFL is struggling, child. In fact, they are winning this lucrative game. They have been able to profit greatly from ballooning valuation across the board. And of course, if there are winners, there are also losers. This is sports, isn't it? Those losers are you and me. Football fans, media deals, streaming, the internet, and more have given fans greater access to the sport that they love. And look, you don't have to be a Dallas Cowboys roadie to watch their games or engage with the team. But as with most things that sound great, it comes with the cost. Outside of social media, you do have to pay to gain that access, and it's not cheap. For example, if you wanted to watch every major in-market game for a given week in the NFL, you would need a subscription to Amazon Prime to watch Thursday Night Football, Fox and Paramount Plus to watch Sunday day games, Peacock to stream Sunday Night Football. Oh, and also, you can't miss Monday Night Football, which is exclusively on ESPN and ABC. Woo, child! The NFL is giving side chick energy, and baby, it's expensive to have a situationship and have to do it in different area codes. Woo! This has been Brew Breakdown. I'm Sigin Ojulu. Hey, so what do you all think? Let us know in the comments below, and make sure to let me know what other topics you'd like me to cover on the next Brew Breakdown. Thanks for watching.